Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast, adding games both new and old to your backlog, one slightly inappropriate episode at a time. My name is Christian, and bring, I'm on my bike. Joining me today is Amanda.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Harrow, I'm still not with you.
And Bobby.
OLED is better than no LED.
Wow. What quippy, fun introductions. We're going to find out what all that means in a bit, because this week we're talking about Rue Valley and Cities Skylines II. But first, Amanda, let me know what is new.
Oh, okay, so I kind of just have some big updates about Arc Raiders because I still am
What a
very,
nerd,
very,
bro. Okay,
I'm still so obsessed with this damn game, dude. Like, all right, but I wanted to talk about something that's actually super fascinating that I think is pretty novel in this like genre and things, which is their ability to just keep cranking out events and content and different things. And also right now has started the expedition period, which is the option to self-wipe. So in a lot of extraction
I do that every day.
Yeah, that's important. You know, I can wipe too.
Some people are bideters in this world, and that's something. Anyways, that's
fancy. That's fancy booty talk. Some people just use the little, some people just use the ladle with the water or like the cup. You know, they got the special like saucepan for the water. Yeah, everybody. You know what? Everybody treats their bum differently in different cultures.
Okay.
All right.
I've learned two new things.
Just so long
ladle
as
with
you're
your
taking
butt.
care of it, right? Like, don't go around. Yeah. Anyway,
Bobby's eyes are taking in a lot of light. Taking in a lot of light.
Yeah.
Keep going.
You know, this is getting a little off topic anyway, into the weeds, so to say.
Welcome to the Booty Podcast. Anyways.
Right? But what's not booty is this expedition and the way that they're doing self-extraction. Well, not self-extraction, self-wipe in the extraction shooter. So typically in like Tarkov and Rust and a lot of these games, they would do these routine wipes, which people then go nuts on wipe day because everything's fresh. You work really hard with the rest of your team to be in the forefront of this, right? The way that Arc Raiders is dealing with this is they're kind of like, hey, we know that everybody's busy. We know that there's a whole wide mix of people that play this. There are some people more casual. There are some people more hardcore. And this is the first time I've ever seen a shooter, and especially an extraction shooter, do a pretty damn good job balancing this thin needle to thread, right? Because it's really difficult. You can't please everybody. And so what they're doing is when you have all of the resources and all the money, there's like this 6-step tier to building what's essentially like a huge rocket to launch your character out into space and into a different planet or a different world. And you basically are saying goodbye to your character. You will restart all of your skill points. Everything in your inventory is going to get liquidated, and based on a total value is how much money will get transferred into skill points. So when you wipe, say they're doing it by a mill, which is a lot, but this is to kind of reset and refresh the slate. And there are plenty of people, including people I know and myself, that like we are hitting these numbers. So there's plenty of people out there that this applies to, where every million that you get.
Sorry, one second. Other than hygienic reasons, the reasons to wipe are skill points, like progression for your character. Does that give you a leg up on other characters? Because you said they're trying to reset everything. What are they trying to reset if some characters are ahead of other characters?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's basically like, I think in a way what it is trying to do is the whole purpose of a wipe is to keep things obviously fresh, right? And booty jokes aside, I know they
By the way, I'm like 7 years old. I can't contain laughing during this whole...
It is funny. No, but the point of a wipe is that like you don't want people that have reached the end game that are at max level to just be like farming all the new people and killing people because they're bored and so they have nothing else to do.
So they go to a different server. Now they're gone.
So there is actually research out there showing, and I think the lead game designer has come out and said that they are kind of doing aggression-based matchmaking, which is really fascinating. So if you play a bunch of rounds where you literally don't shoot at anybody, you avoid them or you work with other people, you'll start getting matched with other people that are friendlier. So then this way they can keep all of the aggressive PvPers as closely together as possible. But as somebody that's at the very end of the game, after a while, it just gets so boring because you're like, what am I going going to even try and grab or fight for or do anything like that. Like the only thing left is PvP. And this was a team that originally didn't want a PvP game. They added it in there to kind of add a little bit of spice. And so that's not the focal point of the game, though. So the way that they're kind of addressing this problem of like kind of, too many people being at the end there is, yeah, you opt in. There's a window where you can sign up to actually wipe everything out. And based on how much money your value is worth and your whole account is worth, like both how much money is on your Raider and how much money is in your stash, like all of that gets kind of liquidated at the end to a value, and you can only go to a max of like 5 skill points in the next turn and everything will reset. So in a way, in terms of skill points, yes, you're at a bigger advantage, but a lot of the skill points aren't crazy huge things. You might be able to breach barricaded doors a little bit faster or a little bit quieter, but these aren't like huge game breaking like
do 20%
changes.
more damage. It's nothing like that.
It's
cool.
Yeah, it's not insanely large of a margin of it, but it is a little bit enough that they're giving you incentive to actually do this, because otherwise, why would you lose everything that you've worked hard for? And some people still are like that.
This is a huge sidebar. I remember the first wipe I ever did. I remember the first game wipe. Get your mind out of the gutter, Bobby. I saw you smile. I ever did. Which was in Call of Duty Modern Warfare on Xbox. And the only thing you got was an emblem beside your name. And that emblem would morph the more times you reset your account.
Prestige. Yeah. And so this is very similar to Prestige in a way, but I feel like it kind of gives more, and it's not, you will get cosmetics and you'll get different things as well for doing this, but they do tend to stack as well. Like I think you get, like, I want to say it's about like 10% increase of XP. So like a little bit more incentives to do this. And I'll have more of an update on it once I actually go through it. I am going through it. It starts officially, everybody's places that signed up will reset beginning, I believe, Sunday. So after this podcast episode comes out and is released, it's a pretty good time to actually come into Arc Raiders, because there's going to be a huge wave of people that have just been like X Games mode on this game that are now starting at ground zero again. So it'll be a pretty good time, a pretty like hard refresh. And with the sale going on, it's pretty nice. It's 20% off right now, even though it's a very new released and successful game. And also, this is a big selling point, guys. I found out that I can actually put RuneScape on one screen and play it and still
so
raid.
Ridiculous, dude.
Right? Have a game with a game, dude.
Where's the third game? Dr. Manhattan? Where?
You know what? Yeah, you're right. I do have Pokemon Go going on my phone at the same time, too. So you're right. I got all three.
You're physically wandering around the room as you're playing. It all makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. You just need more monitors, which, I mean, if you're in the market for new monitors, Bobby, tell us what's new.
Yeah, so here's the funny thing. I'm not in the market for new monitors. You ever do this, like shop for things that you don't need with money you don't have? Like, I don't know why I'm looking at monitors, but when I moved into my new place back in March, I went single monitor for the first time in a very long time. I figured I've got an ultra wide 34-inch monitor. What do I need a second one for? I think I can get by with just one. And so far, it's been just fine. But lately I was like, what if I had a second monitor? Just what if? What would that look like? Yeah. And I started looking at monitors, and I haven't done that in years because this one's been doing a great job. And things have changed. So the last time I looked at monitors, I think there was like maybe one OLED option out there. Like Nvidia had some $4,000 or $5,000 one that was 40 inches, and just it was really like one of those bleeding edge things that you'd only get if you were an enthusiast. It wasn't like nobody's going to buy that. So I was like, okay, I'll stick with IPS, because if you've been listening to this podcast for long enough, you'll remember the episode when I got my first IPS monitor, and I was just like, I'm never going back to like a TN or a VA panel anymore. It's just like IPS all the way. And it was just such
all acronyms I definitely understand. Yeah. Sorry, continue, Bobby. Yeah. IBS.
Keep going. I don't even know what IBS. Well, that's why you got to wipe. That's why you got to get that wipe.
It all comes back to the wipe. It all goes
That's
back
right.
to the wipe, dude.
And Bobby, hear me out. I mean, did you hear me? You could be playing probably Deep Rock Galactic on one screen and RuneScape in the other. I mean, you need two monitors. I think you need to buy a second monitor.
Have you thought about the RuneScape Advantage,
I
Bobby?
know. It's great for, well, I don't know. I'm not a great multitasker. You know, I try to do two things at once and then I like walk into a wall. So, you know, I'm not super good at that. But yeah, back when I had two monitors, I remember like back in 2018, I was playing nonstop Deep Rock Galactic, and then I just had some TV on up in the other monitor, and it was great. 6 seasons of Dynasty. You guys remember that, right? If you've been around long enough. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I do need a second monitor. But here's what I realized. As I'm shopping around for monitors, OLEDs are everywhere now. And they're about the same price I paid for my last monitor. You know, they're not cheap, but they're reasonable. They're like, you can get one for under $1,000. And it's hard to tell how good it looks in screenshots or videos, but I'm sure, like I've seen an OLED screen before. I know they look great. I got an OLED TV. Like they look fantastic. The viewing angles, the colors, like it's just top notch. So now I'm just like, man, should I just get a new monitor? Like I have nothing, like there's nothing wrong with my original monitor and I have nothing to do with it. I can't give it to my girlfriend. I can't, I don't know anyone else that could use it. I can't use it at work.
You wouldn't just use it as a second monitor? You would
No, because the one I'm looking at is just like the 4K Asus OLED. Like that's the one I'd be going with. But
damn, you're talking about it like someone looking at you directly in the eyes across the bar. 4K.
Hey, I did some shopping around. I decided on the one that I really like. And I do, you know, I'm doing just fine. And like this would be, they have like a straight up 4K that's not ultra wide. It's like a little bit thinner, but taller. So, and it'd be nice to get away from like the ultra wide aspect ratio. The 21:9, it causes problems when you're like screen sharing or doing this or that. You know, it'd be nice to go back to that 16:9 aspect ratio. So I don't know. I'm like talking myself in and out of like getting a new monitor, but like really I'm just like, I don't need one. But this happened to me once before, like many years ago. I just finally discovered NVMe hard drives, which, if you know technology, like, you know, we went from like spinning disks to like SSDs, and then we like basically had little RAM chips that we were putting hard drives on, and they were super crazy fast. And like for the longest time, I just didn't know about this until one day somebody mentioned it to me, and I'm just like, oh my God, the performance on that. So yeah, man, I've been out of the loop on that. So I'm here to let everybody know OLED monitors, they're a thing. Like if you're looking for a monitor, you got to get one. So maybe Bobby, soon I'll be playing on my OLED.
You should take a picture of your current monitor, and we should throw a poll up somewhere. You should let the people decide. Take this decision off your hands. Should you get a new monitor or not? Why are you thinking about it? We have a whole community who would like to weigh in, and I think we should let them do that.
Well, let me give you the kicker here, and this might sell you on the OLED. So I buy Asus monitors because they have a built-in KVM, but the KVM on my monitor is horrible. I have to click that little toggle button on my monitor, that little joystick down there, and like go through the on-screen display and menu over to switch my display. Then I have to do the same thing to switch over my keyboard and mouse every time.
Oh.
A KVM, usually one click you're on this, one click you're on that. The new Asus monitor has something where you can do it all at once. I think it's still like you got to play with the on-screen menu, but it's better. So, I mean, like that on top of like the beauty of OLED, I'm just like, man.
The beauty of OLED. Yep.
Sounds like you made your decision, Bobby.
Yeah.
But what, I mean, how terrible is that I'm just going to have like a perfectly good monitor and nothing to do with it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I can find like a
Bobby,
gamer in need.
Yeah, exactly. There's kids out there. There's ways you can donate it. I'm sure there's people who would love to take your monitor for however much a reduced price, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, because you can't really sell that on eBay, man. Who wants to ship a monitor?
No. I mean, you could dual monitor it, dude. Like I said, I mean, it started on RuneScape.
Don't get
you could
crazy.
You could watch a new show 6 seasons in. You know, there's plenty of shows out there.
Yeah, I think my desk has room for it, but yeah.
Did you ever finish Andor, Bobby?
No, I didn't. I don't even know if
I'm
I
on
finished the
Team
first.
2 monitor. I'm on Team 2. Throw that
Team
up on
2
the second
monitor.
screen.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy. It is 2027 or whatever year it is, and you haven't finished Andor. Okay. I made a video on the least reviewed game in the Game Awards, which is a little game called Despelote. It is on our YouTube channel. The game is a game about being a kid and playing soccer in Ecuador. I said everything I wanted to say about the game in this 5-minute video. I'm really proud of it. Took a little personal angle. So if you like how that sounds, go and check it out. And now we're going to skedaddle down onto Amanda. What did you play this week?
I played this game called Rue Valley. It is a narrative adventure game about a man named Mr. Harrow. That is my reference from my quip was to Mr. Harrow, where he essentially, you're trying to figure out, you know that he has like a mental illness or a few of them, and he seems to be stuck in this time loop. Every single it felt like almost every 5 minutes you would like go back to the same beginning scene where you're sitting there with the therapist and the therapist goes, "Still with me, Mr. Harrow?" And like that happens constantly, back to back to back to back. And so you're obviously stuck in this time loop, right? It's visually stunning. It's done in this kind of almost like a comic book art style where it did remind me a bit of Disco Elysium, especially with it being the type of narrative game where it was, where it's very choices matter. It's very heavy on that. It's heavy on like your personality determines some of the different conversation outcomes that you have. And so instead of focusing so much on like a political aspect and a detective work aspect that Disco Elysium does, this focused a lot more.
Real quick. Someone just gifted me like 20 minutes ago Disco Elysium on Steam. Sorry, I just had to drop. I'm so excited. I was looking for a game for the Steam Deck. I have 14 days in this province at my parents' house. What the hell am I going to do at night? Sorry, that's a sidebar.
Disco
but I'm super
Elysium
excited.
is so good. And it's good that I feel like it's important to talk about because actually I feel like what has done this game, Rue Valley, a huge disservice is that everybody's comparing it to Disco Elysium. It looks incredibly similar. It's this like top-down point and click, word, very heavy, rich in story, visually beautiful looking narrative game that is just like Disco Elysium in that way. But these are two very, very different games. And I feel like part of why actually there's such mixed reviews, and even myself, I don't enjoy this game, might have been because so many of us put this game on a pedestal of Disco Elysium. So like it didn't live up to that expectation. And that's not fair to the dev team for sure. But it also kind of is what it is as well too. Like that, I feel like that's just a genuine reaction to it, is that I was hoping this game was something that could itch that Disco Elysium.
Right. If it walks like Disco Elysium and it barks like Disco Elysium, it must be. And then
similar,
when it's not, it's like, meh.
I was super excited though, because I was like, oh man, them taking, if you had the richness that was in Disco Elysium and like the storytelling that was there, but made it about mental illness, like that's a grand slam kind of game to me, at least. That's I was super excited about this game because that's what I thought it was. But it turns out as I played it, after a little over an hour, I was so bored. I felt like it was painful to like keep playing it. And yeah, I know. I feel, and that's so scathing, and I feel really bad. But there's a lot of mixed reviews about this too. That
hey, life
is similar.
is about pain.
Well,
no, it
sounds really dramatic, but especially in comparison to like how much I was playing the Thaumaturge, it was kind of like, man, this game really is just not it. Like there's something missing. It felt like a slog. I felt like the pacing was too slow. It was like taking the time loop concept like too far, like too much of repeating the same words the same day over and over and over again. I was kind of like, what's the point? And I felt like each day that I repeated the same day, I maybe unlocked an extra word or a sentence. Like I don't really feel like I went anywhere with any of the like conversations that I was having for over an hour. And I was like, I feel like so much of this game, like I've gotten nowhere at all except repeating the same walking things and hearing the same things. And like, it's just boring, in a way at the end of the day, which is really unfortunate because actually a lot of people, like, again, it's highly mixed, very controversial, kind of like really on both ends with this game. There's a lot of people that really love it, felt like it was really highly engaging and really rewarding and has really exceptional story and writing. And like, to be fair, maybe I need to be like 4 or 5 hours in of the same day and I'll see what they're talking about. But there were some cool aspects of it that I did like. I thought that it was cool how they did your, so to say, journal. Like every game has your journal of what you've discovered, what you've learned, what you need to do, your quests, things like that. The way that they did it was like almost like it reminded me actually of like Charlie Day or whatever in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where like it's just sitting there pasting all of these red lines to all these things. But it's cool because they have all these memories and all these moments and then all these lines connecting to them, whether they're related or not, and you can kind of
That's a cool
relive
way
them
to
in a
do
way.
it.
And I thought it was such a cool way. It was really novel and unique. And like I also thought what was really novel and unique about this game that was super cool was how much your personality determines. So Disco Elysium, because again, the games are similar enough that like that's really the best way to compare, even though I recognize it's very unfair to hold this game up to that standard. But Disco Elysium does so many of the choices based on dice rolls, which is cool. So there's a whole element of luck that shapes kind of your direction of how you uncover different things narratively. In Rue Valley, it's completely determined on your personality. So you might not get to have a conversation because you're too introverted or you're too aggressive or like you're not very charming. And so like all these different things impact what kind of conversations you can have. But I don't know, I'm really conflicted about it. I just kind of feel like for a game that could have had all of this like depth and all this time loop and all and like a really cool concept, I just don't think it was exactly executed in such a way that is like gripping, that is like novel and like super game changing of being unfortunately on a level that like so many people, including myself, compared Disco Elysium to, which is a
The
shame.
loop was too boring. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know, what's a loop movie? I had one now. Like Looper. If you went back in time and it's just like,
What's
is
a
that
loop
not a good
movie?
one?
Looper.
but some games
Wait, that's one of the best
done
loop
it.
movies, is it? Is
I
it
mean,
not?
it's right
What's
there
a
in
better
the title, man.
Name a better loop movie. Name a better one.
You know,
Yeah, but some games I think really have done like a time loop concept really well. Like I think Deathloop probably is one of them, right? Like in a way you could make the argument that The Alters does a type of time loop with how you'll have one guy die and make a new guy and you make new guys of yourself. But like that one is a little bit of a stretch. I think another game that like I had on my radar for a while was Hank Drowns on Dry Land, which was also like a comic book style where you had to get around and stealthily do things and then you would rewind time to relive the same events where you could change them. I have seen time loops do well, but I do think that it's a very ambitious thing to do because it's very hard sometimes. And I think I see it in this game as well, that because of so much focus on time looping, I felt like it was lacking clarity in a way with this game. Like there was so many times where I was just like, there's like nothing going on, or I don't get it, or I don't know what the hell's going on. And I'd like to think I tune in pretty quickly to a plot and narrative games and like meta of things, right? And so like to me, I was just like, this isn't really, it feels borderline too vague, especially with the progression of discovery of the game and what you're doing. So I don't know, not for me, but I will say what's great about them is they just released a major update where they've added new content, they've changed the editing, they're making like big changes to the game in their updates. So the devs are listening, they're working with the community, they're adding content, they're changing these massive things, like I said. So part of me kind of wonders if this game could come back and change in a similar way of No Man's Sky. Do you guys think that like a choice-based narrative game can like make such a hit like No Man's Sky did of like not doing great at launch and then like really bringing it back a year or two from now?
I wish I played No Man's Sky at the beginning, and I wish I was like within the community so I could answer that from a basis of like better knowledge. Because I'm not sure if what makes No Man's Sky, what makes that available to happen to No Man's Sky is just it's an open world game, and so you add enough content and people's expectations are up. With a narrative game, if you've already played it and marked it mixed, I mean, I don't think you're coming back.
There's not a lot of replay value in that type of game.
Yeah.
Plus,
So-
I honestly feel the same. Yeah.
With No Man's Sky too, another important thing to mention is there was a lot of hype and expectation on that game. And then it came out and underdelivered, then eventually met those expectations. So I think that is a little different than a game just starting off very small and building a large community. But repetition is a really interesting concept in games because I want to say it's like the worst thing a game could do is be repetitive. But then there's games out there that use repetition to great advantage, like that use that core gameplay loop where you're essentially doing the same thing over and over again, but really make it work. And, you'd have to really dissect that and figure out why does this one work and why does that one not work, But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. But I wish the best for Rue Valley. It's cool that they swung for the narrative time loop, and it seems like it might have been a bit of a miss for some people. So maybe next time, maybe their thing is they make loop games now. And now that they've done it once, they're like, this is what we did wrong. Our next loop game will be so much better. Hear me out, loopers. No? Okay.
What was the game where you just run around in a loop? Was it Dungeon Loop? Loop Hero?
Loop Hero.
Loop Hero. Okay.
Yeah, Loop Hero. Yeah. Oh, so fun. Yeah, I had to uninstall that one. That one was bad.
Yeah. I messed up. I think I said Deathloop, which is a movie, and I meant Loop Hero.
That's a game.
Deathloop is a game. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Don't doubt yourself.
Well, sorry, just dogpiling on the insecurities. And speaking of, Bobby, how was dogpile?
Well, we're actually going to skip on doodly down because Bobby's not going to. He de-dogged the pile. If you're a patron,
we're going to talk about dogpile next week. Trust me, it's worth talking about.
De-dog pile? Is that what I came up with? I feel like I came up with something.
Undog pile.
That's way worse for some reason. Okay, I'm going to talk about City Skylines 2. I said I wasn't going to play the game until they added bikes. Why am I talking about it? Drum roll. Does anyone have a guess out there?
They've added bikes.
Yep, they've added bikes finally.
Bring, honk, honk. Here comes Christian on the sidewalk with a bike.
Oh, dude, please tell me you have streamers on your bike, dude. And a little
streamers? No, I actually have a little beads in the rim of the wheel, so they go tick, 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 tick.
I loved those growing up. Oh, those are
baseball.
So cool.
Yeah. I love my fucking bike. Okay, so if you don't know what City Skylines 2 is, it's the city builder set in the modern day. I think for urbanism nerds and people who like to make sewer dams and burst them upon their own city, cover the people in the poop. Like, there's two types of City Skylines players. People who are like optimizing and like taking it very seriously. And then there's other people who are just like doing the most ridiculous thing, like terraforming a giant dick and balls and making a city on it and calling it gonorrhea or something. Anyways, so I am not those people. This is a serious game for serious people. So 2 years ago, I said in 2 years, this would be the best city builder you could buy. I think I said that on our Game of the Year episode. So it has been fairly close to 2 years. And perhaps I had a little too much faith. That's what my priest told me back in the day when I was a young Catholic boy. Too much faith. Weird traffic jams and parking behavior. There's minor pathway additions cause buildings to randomly like despawn and deconstruct almost like they're exploding and combusting. Citizen trips are strange. If you click on a pop and follow them around the city, you can see where they came from and where their destination is. I'll have people hop on a bike, ride all the way across the city just to take a bus back to their house. And they did nothing on that trip. All they did was take a bus home. So that and so many more bugs makes playing the game a little frustrating, more frustrating than it should be. It's still a super fun experience. The leveling up system that they brought to the game is awesome, but these weird little bugs and these things where it seems like someone just hasn't paid attention to the detail required for this type of simulation plays out. And when you have a population of like 40,000 people and you have a major bug on like a roadway, it can be a lot of work to rip that out and put it in. That can like significantly impact your playthrough. And there's no reverting to a prior save in these types of games, right? Like, it would be cool if they auto saved every 6 months or something, but there's nothing like that in the game. So Paradox has sort of come out and said, hey, Colossal Order, people who are making this game and who made City Skylines 1, you're no longer making this game. We're giving it to our other studio, Ice Flake Studios, which is pretty goddamn fucking crazy. They announce it like everyone was okay with this decision, but I can't imagine anyone was okay with this decision. I imagine the publisher, Paradox, was maybe a little disappointed that Colossal Order did not fix these bugs. You know, the game came out in mixed. It still hasn't met the expectation of what they said City Skylines was going to do in the first place. And I imagine Colossal Order was a little pissed because, you know, reading between the lines here, maybe there's some pressure from the publisher to deliver on some features, or maybe the expectations they didn't create. Maybe the marketing of the publisher created those expectations. Now they have to meet them, but they could never intend on meeting them. Whatever the case is, I'm just speculating, but Ice Flake Studios introduced themselves last week and said, hey, we're Ice Flake Studios. And people were like, who the hell is Ice Flake Studios? Mostly they make mobile games, and their last game they did make was a PC title called Surviving the Aftermath, which is this post-apocalyptic city builder. I played it and it just didn't quite do it for me. There's something up with it. So, I mean, this game, I'm not a game developer. I have no idea how this shit works, but it just seems so complicated to go from mobile games and this sort of fairly basic city builder, Surviving the Aftermath, to City Skylines. That seems insane, but you know, I guess they're having a crack at it, and we'll see where they end up. Who knows? Maybe they can rise to the challenge, and maybe they have what it takes to fix it. Maybe they were put in there for a reason. Maybe they pitch something. Hey, I think we can do this, this, and this. I don't know. But for me, yeah, Bobby?
Oh, no, I was just saying interesting. But, you know, I'm trying to think of like other developers that kind of came in on a project or like did something that was unexpected or unusual. The only thing that I can think of is when that Alien Isolation game was made by that developer who only specialized in a completely different type of genre. What was that developer?
I have no idea. I did not play this.
You're going to make me look it up, but
yeah, look it up.
Look it up.
Look it up. Yeah, look it up while I look at you looking it up.
Well, dang. God. So yeah, do you think that it's not gonna bounce back so much either, Christian? Like,
well, my faith is shooken. I've been shaked too much. I don't know
because it was Creative Assembly, by the way. They made a lot of the Warhammer games. Okay, and then they made Alien Isolation. Everyone was like, "Well, that's what." But yeah. But it's crazy that like City Skylines 2 is such a disappointment because the first one was like the savior for all of us from Sim City, and the disappointment that had become, you know?
Yeah, you grow up to become the villain. Is that the saying? Yeah. Something like this. You either live long enough to be a hero. I don't know. I'm butchering it. Anyways.
But how were the bikes, dude? How were the bikes? You were so excited for the bikes and...
Sorry, the bikes... They are cool. The bikes are super cool. So before, when I was playing this game, I'd have traffic jams all the time until I unlocked subways and buses, which comes way further in the progression of the game. So it'd be really frustrating to watch all this happen and be like, why aren't my people fucking walking and biking? Like the most easiest ways to get around. So now that bikes are here, the traffic is manageable up into subways for sure. But the implementation is weird and limited. Like, okay, first of all, guys, I'm like a fucking bike nerd. So like I think I have to acknowledge it was never gonna please me. But people only take bikes if their house car is being used. They don't even consider biking to their destination if the house car is being used. So even if the destination is within a bikeable distance, like 5 kilometers or something, and there is a bike route from their house to the thing, always one person will take a car, which to me is just why? I mean, couldn't they make it another? I don't understand why. Bike traffic jams happen all the time. The thing that's cool with bikes, if you've ever been to Amsterdam or a place with lots of bikes, bikes just go past each other. There's no bike traffic jams. It's very hard to have a bike traffic jam because bikes go between cars. They can hop up on curves. They're not like bound by these big metal boxes. And yet in City Skyline 2, my bikes are lining up fucking perfectly behind each other at the intersection. And I'm like, go! Why are you doing that? Waiting for the bike in front to turn left. I'm like, there's enough room for at least 7 of you to go at once. And you know, I paid a pretty penny for this game, and I don't usually bring this up. I paid for this game, but I mean, I demand perfection. Okay. I feel like Cities Skylines needs to be perfect, and we are so far from that. And this bike patch kind of proved to me that, Colossal Order, I don't want to say phoning it in because I don't know the details of what's happening, but it just seemed like kind of a half-assed delivery, honestly, and I was a bit disappointed. So Ice Flake Studios, Best Friend ended with Colossal Order. Ice Flake Studios, you are my new best friend. I hope and wish you the best of luck in the new year. I really wanted City Skylines 2 to be great, but I'm starting to look at this other game, guys, from across.
Really?
Yeah,
What's the game that you want to play?
It's called Citystate Metropolis. I'm embarrassed to even say in front of you guys because I just feels like I'm doing something dirty, right? Like City Skylines is such a formative game for me beyond gaming. It introduced me to like the whole like city planning, urbanism thing. But I think I might have to leave for the Citystate Metropolis, which is going to be on the radar later in the show. Any questions about this situation? The developer handing over any City Skylines 2?
I feel like that's really fascinating, especially kind of like behind the wall to kind of see that stuff, right? But I'm glad to hear that because I'm not gonna lie, like with City Skylines being on the Steam sale as well, I was looking into it because I clearly also have an itch for like a city builder, or I want to build something, I want to create something. And so I was looking at it and I was like, maybe it's good now. And so, but it sounds like, nope, sounds like I shouldn't waste my time, right? I think I'd rather hear of what's on your radar and what you want to play.
Right. Yeah. And that's sad because I still would recommend City Skylines 1 to anyone, right? But anyways, City Skylines 2, not quite there yet. But enough about the cities and the skylines. Amanda, what do you want to play?
Well, like I said, I've been kind of really craving to create something, and I keep going back and forth because I also like city builders. So, like, it could be one of those. It could be a crafting survival. I like those as well. But so my buddy, who I have always trusted her judgment, shout out to Abs if she listens. But
shout out to Abs.
Shout out to Abs.
ABBZ. Let's go.
She has always been my like crafting survival buddy and shooter friend. I've known her. We've known each other in real life since we were children, and she was kind of telling me about this game called Bellwright, which I believe I might have put on the radar a long time ago because I have it on my wish list, but maybe not. So just assuming not, it's a open world crafting survival game in kind of a more medieval timeline. So they just have like bows and arrows and clubs and swords, blacksmith, like real old school, and seems to be really kind of interesting where you're building up like a settlement and building up your own kind of place, your home. You can have animals like pigs and chickens and cats and cows.
This
and
sounds
milk
like
'em.
that game Medieval Dynasty, doesn't it?
Maybe. Yeah, I've honestly never played that. So I don't know. But it is medieval, so maybe. And you are kind of building somewhat of your own dynasty, yeah, because you hire and bring people into your settlement where they work for you, and you can switch some of them to either being a companion or a guard or a worker, and you can assign them different tasks, which to me kind of actually reminds me a lot of like Pow World. That's how Pow World was. Yeah, Pow World was like you basically caught, Pokemon ripoffs and then assign them to like, hey, you're just going to mine now. You're just going to cut trees. So this is Bobby's dream. He's just going to be like, you go cut trees. I'm not cutting trees, but you go cut it. And that's exactly what I told my first guy.
I'm going to make a tower that blocks out the sun in this village. They'll call me the Wicked Witch of the West.
That's right. But there's a little bit more lore in this. You kind of follow the story where like as a kid, you watched the prince get shot in the woods with a bow and arrow, and then the sister catches you and thinks it's you, so that you flee from the
some Game of Thrones stuff.
Yeah, like it's really interesting, and like the storytelling in this is pretty solid. The writing has been pretty interesting. Being able to talk to people. There's like raids
so that's
of
the angle.
and
there's story, unlike medieval, because it sounds very similar to this game, Medieval Dynasty. You also assigned villagers to tasks. You also build up a medieval village. And you create a dynasty that lives throughout you. So when your character dies, you play as your son and stuff. But no story as far as I know. That might even be an early access still, but that this has a story, that could be exciting. Yeah.
This has a real story, and you're trying to figure out what has happened in the past and trying to find um people that have like assassinated people that were close to you. So like there is definitely a story. I've only played like an hour or two of it. It's enough though that I'm definitely going to be playing a lot more of it. And so I'm not sure that's also why it's on my radar, because I definitely want to play more of it.
Is it a multiplayer game? Are you playing with
Yes.
ABBZ? Nice.
I will be able to. Right now, it seems to be similar to how Valheim does it, which is that you have your save, your world, your character, and then somebody has to host it or join yours. And
Got it.
instead of it being like Ark Survival Evolved, which is like dedicated servers that you just go in and save, this one is, you know, specific to a local game, and then they join in. But it is co-op. You can play with other people, which is awesome. I have no idea how many people, but I do know that me and my friend Abs are definitely going to be playing this weekend and playing this game a lot more. But it's
Sick.
fun. It's cute, and it feels I guess it feels like hardcore enough in the sense that it's kind of like, you know, if you got to build a trap and then you have to put the trap out there and then put the bait into the trap and then catch the rabbit and then skin the rabbit and then cook it. Like, it seems like it's complex enough with
it
that.
Seems like
but
an
it's very
Amanda
fun.
loop.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It sounds like a
Amanda
fun
code.
It's a fun loop, you know, and no machines, which is good. I have to take a little bit of a break sometimes from all the machines that are in Arc Raiders or something. I'd imagine like Terminator, which somebody's got on his radar for some reason. Somebody wants to dive in with
Who's
the machines.
That?
Gosh,
I thought he was going to talk about Dogpile. What's
Right?
happening? What?
No, this week I am going to be talking about Terminator 2D No Fate is the game that I want to play. So I saw this game on Steam and I was like, am I seeing this right? What is this? It's a side-scroller action beat-em-up game that's based off Terminator 2. So this is one of those games that's made to look like it came out in the 90s, but was really, really well done. Like basically someone said, what if we made a Super Nintendo game, but just like made it really good with kind of like the same graphics, but like that little more of a modern like gameplay aesthetic. So it's based off of Terminator 2. About a year ago, I think I watched all the Terminator movies. I was like, let's go through all the Terminator movies, just see how they're going. Steep drop off after 2. 1, great. 2, great. After that, oh my God. So, and I think that like everybody knows that, right? But Terminator 2, I want to say, is probably the best one out of all of them. And of course, No Fate, the title of this game is from the movie No Fate, But What We Make, I think. Catchy. But whenever I see these brawler beat 'em up games, you know, we talked about repetition earlier, and these brawler beat 'em up games get super repetitive. And as good as they are, as cute as they look, or like whatever else I like about them, eventually I get super bored of them because it's really just the same thing over and over. You walk up to some guy, you smash a bunch of buttons, they die, you know, like you learn the little combos or whatever. It's really hard to keep these fresh. And they've tried to do it before with like Streets of Rage 4 and, you know, some other games like that. And they've had some like pretty interesting like gameplay combo mechanics, but I feel like it's really hard to make a modern brawler beat 'em up game. But I noticed while looking at this game, Terminator 2D No Fate, all the screenshots look different. And I think that could be a real advantage here. There's a variety to the gameplay, like the levels. There looks like there's lots of boss fights. Like one mission, you're walking in like a 2D area where it's just straight up 2D. The next one is like 2.5D where there's some depth. The other one you're doing this kind of first person.
It's called Terminator 2D. You can't add a 0.5D.
They put in a 0.5D, dude. And then they go first person and like you're shooting
Only
at these and like yeah.
What?
There's a lot going on in this game, and I'm like, you know, maybe that's the way to do it. I mean, they have a bunch of modes that they list, and I don't know exactly what they mean, but like story mode, arcade mode, infinite, and boss rush. Boss rush sounds like it might be kind of cool because usually the boss fights on those games are like super fun. So if they have a mode that's just all that, that'd be great. And you know, all these brawler beat 'em up games, they're all, you know, very similar or very repetitive in their mechanics, but also the level style. It's you're working your way from left to right. Occasionally you get that one elevator level where you just stand on something that's moving up and down and like the enemies just come in and you have to like hold them off. Like, but really it's all the same. So I'm hoping this one adds some variety. You do get to play as Sarah Connor or the T-800, and they do have Naked Arnold in there, which of course it's a Terminator movie. You got to see some Arnold
He gets
buns.
naked?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've never seen these. I'm so sorry.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, because
You're missing out on the
time
buns.
travel with clothes on. So you always arrive
Really?
naked. Yeah, that's the whole
That is
thing.
fascinating.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so you
A
come
cool
back to the
excuse to have
past
someone
and-
naked in a movie.
Oh yeah.
What
Okay.
a wipe.
Yeah, buns out, guns out, dude. Like
Okay, I just have one question. I've seen a clip or something, maybe a GIF. The Terminator, he looks like a human, and his arm turns into a sword, and he stabs someone. Is that Terminator 2?
yeah, that's the T-1000. So that's the bad guy.
I want to watch that movie. Okay, I would love to watch
yeah,
that.
dude, do yourself a favor. Watch Terminator 1. You know what?
I
You're
have
not
a trade. I have a proposal.
This is the guy that said he didn't
Andor.
like Jurassic Park, though. So I don't know. I don't know about this, but yeah,
Right.
watch,
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
Terminator 1. I think you're going to be a little disappointed because you didn't like the first Alien movie. Okay, but watch
But
Terminator
the
2.
Aliens was so good. Okay, I'll watch Terminator 2.
And it's the same dealio. It's like James Cameron did. Yeah, dude, I think you'd really like Terminator 2, and everyone will tell you that's the best one. So I'm
cool.
down for a game that's based off of Terminator 2 and does it in like an NES style. Yeah, that's totally cool. They're charging $30 for this game, and I'm just like,
Whoa.
okay, hold up.
Even with the Steam sale? With the winter sale?
$26.99 on the Steam sale. Save.
Holy macaroni.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
know.
pretty
It
penny.
seems like a lot. I mean, I'm not balking at $30, you know, like I got a job, but it's like still that
Yeah.
it seems like
Wait, that's future money. They priced this 100 years in the future whenever Terminator takes place.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Terminator 2D,
How many years-
no fate.
How many years in the future does Terminator? Is it 100 or is it one of
It's
is
not
it
that
one of the
far in the
situations
future.
where
No, because
Yeah, have we
D-Day
passed
happens.
the date?
So in the movie, D-Day or Judgment Day happens, I think, in the 90s or 2000s or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then so it's not that far in the future.
Sweet. Hey, I'll watch it. Terminator 2.
Terminator 2,
Does Terminator 2 have a subtitle? Just 2?
Judgment Day.
Judgment
Judgment.
Day. Crazy.
That's right.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the game I've been looking at across the bar. Citystate Metropolis. It is actually solo developed, which blew my mind, which reminds me a lot of Manor Lords. And like Manor Lords, it is also a gridless modern day city builder with, I would say, an intense attention to detail. So when you zone a building plot in City Skylines, you know, it's like the real world where you are the government and you go, okay, commercial buildings can go here. And whatever the commercial buildings are going to do, like however they're going to specifically develop that, that's kind of up to them. We're just the policymakers. They are the designers. But Citystate Metropolis sort of blurs those lines where when you zone a place, you can do that. You can let them just sort of autofill, but you can also put the setbacks on the building. If you're not an urbanism nerd like me, setbacks is the distance the building is from the sidewalk. You can determine how many parking spaces the building has, the floor counts, the architectural style. There's park editors. You have parks a part of buildings, parks separate. It's mixed with high level policy, so taxation, the build quality, the regulations of these buildings. So you kind of make a city and you're blending both these high level and local things, which is great because that level of control, I think, is how I sort of play City Skylines. You know, I'm in there making pathways. I'm adding lampposts to streets. I'm adding garbage bins to the side of park benches, right? Like I'm trying to make it beautiful. And so that this game lets you do that with all the zoned tiles is pretty awesome. What did I write here? City Skylines isn't texting me back like it used to, and Citystate Metropolis just asked me to go to lunch on a Friday after work. Oh my God. Citystate Metropolis. Come on. I want to be immersed. My hopes and dreams for this game is I want this to be the modern city building game, sort of like what Manor Lords brought to, you know, all the medieval city builders that we build, which very traditionally on a grid, you know, not too much innovation. Well, I shouldn't say not too much innovation, but not a lot of fundamental change to the base of the game since those old Sierra city builders, Caesar and Rome and Pharaoh. This is a crowd-based simulation. So instead of agents like City Skylines, where, I said earlier, I can click on Tom. Tom has a convenience store. I see how much money Tom has in the bank. I see where Tom lives. Tom has a girlfriend. I feel like I can follow Tom around. I can name Tom Bobby, Amanda. I can get him a job. It's cool. You can kind of follow these people around. But this game, it's trade-off, and it says right in the opening paragraph on the Steam page, this is a crowd-based simulation. So you're not going to get that attention of individual pops. And that was a big drawback for me for Jurassic World 3. I felt like I was really missing out, not being able to click on the park goers and get their name or, their hunger or thirst levels and stuff like that. So I don't know. I hope I just get over that by the time this gets out. I have no real plan. I know I like clicking on the Sims and following them around. Like, I know that is part of the appeal for me for these games. What? Bobby, as if you're not a voyeur.
I think there's some ethical dilemmas there. I mean, with privacy, I don't know, man. You're just like creeping on your citizens.
Oh, yes, for sure. Huge problems, huge issues.
Yeah, he's got to know what's going on so that way then he knows how to plan. I'm right there with you, Christian. I loved that about Roller Coaster Tycoon and being able to watch and follow people around and be like, oh, you're mad? Oh, you know what? I need to put a bathroom over here because too many people are about to pee their pants in this line. So I need to put a bathroom here. It's important feedback.
It's for their safety, Bobby. I need to know when they're going to pee their pants. I'm not trying to be creepy.
I don't know. And then you get on their case about taking the car over short distances when they have a bike right there.
He's like, help me help you. Help me help you. It's better for you.
You would not make a good deity, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't. That's why I agree with you, Bobby. I'm totally judging them. Like, he goes across town. He's like, I'm just going to ride my bike across town for exercise and take the bus home. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude. Why would you smiting people for taking their car 5 miles down the road?
Yeah, exactly. So Citystate Metropolis has a lot of exciting things about it. This isn't the dev's first game, and he's written a lengthy blog post about how his previous games, how they've been received, how he thinks he can improve on it. And I read the whole thing, and I was like, okay, I see where you're going with Citystate Metropolis, and I am down. Like, you've made 2 prior games in the city building genre, and they weren't super widely received like City Skylines, but I think they were beloved by the people who played them. It was like a niche of people. And with that experience, you're taking this and you are challenging a game that's currently has been in mixed reviews for 2 years, right? Like, if he successfully challenges this, there's a chance he could kind of take over and be, what City Skylines was to The Sims 4 when that whole thing was going down. So
I'll tell you what, though, not a fan of the name. I feel like I don't know. It's like village, town, province. Like, come on, man. You're throwing words together. City, state, metropolis. That's my only criticism here. That's all I got.
Right.
I like it. It's clear. It gets to the point. You know exactly what you're getting. You're getting a city state and probably building it up to a metropolis. Yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah.
Throw another city descriptive like village, city, state, village, metropolis. Like, why stop at 3 city words?
Also, I like the UI a lot. Like the font that he's using and like the way that it's kind of designed. It reminds me of like Chicago, Like,
it does.
It's like Art Deco. I like that a lot. That's nice.
I would love to visit Chicago. Well, maybe not anymore, but I used to want to visit Chicago, and who knows, maybe one day I will go. Guys, what is our community up to? But first, executive producer Truthbringer, thank you for supporting us on Patreon above the normal amount. That extra money means you love us dearly, and in turn, I've never met you, but I assume you're an okay guy. Bobby, listener questions and corrections. What's going on?
All right. We got a few comments. One coming from Viddy Gamer on YouTube. This was a comment to my Grandma's Boy episode of movie video game reviews. Check those out. He says, or she says, or they say, renting movies in the 2000s was a trip. Sure, IMDb existed, but I didn't have time to look up hundreds of movies at home, and mobile internet was terrible. I randomly picked up Grandma's Boy as a rental because the back case summary mentioned video games. 2006 was my first year as a high schooler. It was the perfect comedy for a teenage boy. Yeah, dude, tell me about it. I mean, if you watch that review, I talk about this, but like Grandma's Boy came out and like nobody saw it. I saw it in the theater. There was like 2 other people in there, like nobody. And then it just like, they pulled that and then eventually came out on DVD and kind of got popular. But yeah, nothing will ever top that. That was good times. All right. We got another comment from Max Ben Jim on Spotify. And they say, nothing on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? Getting nothing?
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 Getting nothing? Max Ben Jim, I don't know if you know this, but you've left a handful of comments about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I can see you're passionate about it. I enjoyed Kingdom Come Deliverance. I have no reason why I wouldn't play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think I might play it. I think I might pick it up, one day in the future when I'm back at my computer, after Christmas break, things are going slow, and I have time to get into a medieval RPG. I would love to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It did get nothing at the Game Awards. Was it even nominated? I don't know.
I thought it was for one of the things. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's also recency bias, right? Like it came out earlier in the year, and
yeah,
I think when it came out, everyone was playing it, but months went by, whole months. Max Ben Jim, think about that.
I mean, it is it looks like 2 days ago PC Gamer released saying that it is their game of the year. So there's that. It's not the Game Awards, but it's something.
And it was probably more of a PC. I just pulled that out of my ass. I have no idea. It probably released on consoles too. I don't know why I'm saying that. I just assume it's more for PC people, but probably not. That's probably false. All right, cool.
Well, it was nominated for Game of the Year, Best Narrative, and Best RPG, and I'm sure it lost all of it to Clair Obscur because it was Clair Obscur's award show for sure.
And Clair Obscur, okay, so it was nominated 3 times, and Max Ben Jim leaves this comment. So many games got snubbed, bro. Okay,
a lot of games got snubbed. Yeah.
Yeah. Next time, don't release when Clair Obscur, like, duh. Way to see that coming. Okay, Amanda, what's the plug?
Yeah, the plug is that you guys can leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'd appreciate it a lot. It definitely would help. It's the free thing to do. And if you like DLG and want to give us our own DLG bump, then that's a great way to do it, is by giving us however many stars you feel is adequate to what you listen to on Apple Podcasts and Spotify reviews. So you can also reach out to us on really kind of any of our socials too, if you wanted to actually comment or have a dialogue. A lot of us are pretty active on Discord. But you could definitely reach out to us on Instagram as well, or anywhere else that we have our socials, and they're all linked on dlgaming.net. But please give us Spotify and Apple Podcast reviews. It'd be nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's an episode. My name is Christian. Joining us today was Amanda and Bobby. Tune in next week because Amanda will have a full chicken farm on Bellwright.
That's my
in
goal.
20 minutes, or it's free. And Amanda, what's playing us out on this episode?
Playing us out today is The Blue Sun from Surviving Mars. Goodbye. Perfect soundtrack to a chicken farm.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It really makes you wipe. But cocky.